Hey guys, Marsingin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to do the team building guide for the AGL ZAMASU EZA. If you're watching this as soon as the video goes up at 10 PM UK time, it means the EZA is going to be out in 11 hours time. I will be live to do the EZAs for both Zamasu and Trunks over on stream, so do come and check those out and do them, you know, alongside us there in the chat, hang out with the Ningen Club. Basically, my late stream is starting an hour later than usual. I normally stream 7 AM to 9 AM, but the EZAs are coming out at 9 AM. So, going to be starting the stream about an hour before, get set up, get our teams ready, maybe try some Heroes vs. Sin runs, who knows. But yeah, I'll be doing those live, so hopefully I will see you there. But Zamasu's EZA definitely looks very good. Looking forward to using him. It's going to be a typical 30-stage EZA, so you get 30 stones for completing it. But the specialized category that you need to use is Battle of Fate. So Battle of Fate, pretty decent sized category overall. Decent amount of units that we can choose from. A couple of different leaders as well. So you are going to be able to use a few different options. Obviously, like with any EZA, you don't necessarily have to use specifically a Battle of Fate leader. And there are a lot of units within this category with their own leader skills that you can use to make like full Battle of Fate teams, right? Because remember, any units not on Battle of Fate will be doing less damage and taking more damage, which is the most important thing. So as always with my team building guides, I will be going through my top picks and honorable mentions. So let me know if there's any units that I missed out or units you think I should have talked more about. And of course, if you do find the guide helpful at all, do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So jumping straight in, obviously we have the new unit. I mean, they do this with like every major EZA that releases with a celebration, right? One or two or both of the new summonable units are going to lead the team that you need to use for the EZA. So Goku and Vegeta obviously have Battle of Fate as one of their 170s. Then they have Realm of Gods or Time Travelers as the plus 30%. So depending on how you want to build the team, there are other options that would give more units a 200% leader skill when it comes to Battle of Fate specifically. But obviously if you did pull these guys, they're a good 170 lead for covering off the whole team. They are really good. Obviously for the first few turns they have their guard. In an EZA that is never going to be particularly long, you're probably not even going to get to the point where you could get to see Vegito anyway. So these guys will just be a good leader for the team, solid defensive unit, and just, yeah, essentially there to be the backbone for the team. They won't, I don't think, be super impressive because they don't get much chance to build up. You're not going to get to transform, but they are there as a leader option. Then, of course, we have the STR GT Duo from the 8th anniversary. These guys lead Battle of Fate for 170 as well. But then their plus 30s are Final Trump Card and Shadow Dragon Saga. So, again, not a huge selection that will be under the full 200% leader skill for them. But obviously, the advantage of running units that actually have the Battle of Fate leader skill is you can use any units from the category and they are all going to be covered by the lead. But these guys will be really good. In terms of their standby, again, it's kind of rare. You probably could get to turn 4 in the later stages. And then from that point, it basically means, especially because Zamasu is AGL, like you could pop the standby, basically just have Vegeta get killed and then finish him off with the Spirit Bomb, or just the 80% attack support that Vegeta is going to provide. Probably just allows you to finish off the fight that turn anyway, right? So you can get to turn 4, you can potentially get this standby out, get that extra support, and then finish off the turn that way. But either way, these guys will be very solid and very good on the team. Despite having type disadvantage, the more they super, the more damage reduction they get. So they will be still very good defensively. And then we have the Goku. There is the Kid Buu as well, but obviously Kid Buu having type disadvantage. I thought I'd just mention the Goku. Just has the straight up Battle of Fate leader skill for 170 to attack and defense, 130 to defense. Probably the lesser option out of all of the leaders, but obviously just, you know, if you don't have any of the newer LRs, he is one that you can use as the leader for your team. Now, when we go into some of the other options for team building, you have units like God Goku. So, God Goku leads Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, and then gives 30% to Power of Wishes or Exploding Rage. Obviously, you can build a very good Battle of Fate team by just bringing Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans. Some of them might get the full 200, some might not, but God Goku himself is very good, and obviously is on Battle of Fate, so very good, very strong unit. As long as you get the 6 orbs, he can be really good in slot 1, even if he doesn't dodge. So, if you don't want to build just a straight up pure Battle of Fate team, because you're either missing some of the key leader units, or you know, you just don't have the better leader skills, I think this guy's leader skill is just good enough that even if you have all the other units we've mentioned so far, you'll be able to make a very strong team using double leads for him. You just obviously have to remember, when it comes to the Battle of Fate category specifically, some of the units on the team might not be getting his 200% lead, but because he has Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, you can bring pretty much anyone in this list, right, in the video that we're going to go over today. So definitely a very strong, solid option. And then, of course, the other counterpart is the Int LR God Goku, because remember, in an EZA, you can't use the same name units, but for the same reason, right? He has Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, 4 key, and attack and defense 150, so a little bit of extra key if you're going to be bringing a bunch of LRs, slightly lower percentage for the leader skill, but just like the physical God Goku, the fact that he leads Pure or Hybrid Saiyans means it offers the leader skill to a wide range of units, so he certainly can be very, very good. Next up, we have Zamasu. So obviously Zamasu being on Battle of Fate, he has type advantage over his normal AGL self. He leads Realm of Gods, Worldwide Chaos, or Fused Fighters. Now there's quite a few Fused Fighters characters on Battle of Fate. You definitely could make a team fully out of his leader skill, especially because he has the extreme sub part as well. So you can easily make a full team just with Zamasu. He's very good, of course, very strong unit, very powerful for the first few turns, strong defensively in slot 1. This guy will just annihilate the AGL Zamasu, to be honest. So if you can bring this guy on the team, do. If he fits in with your team in terms of the leader skill for being a friend leader, he'd be really good as the friend leader. This unit will just be absolutely incredible, right? Both the new units will be good for this event, but this guy will just go ham, especially if you have him and he's link leveled, right? Him at Big Bad Bosses level 10 just absolutely lays waste to AGL enemies, right? So going to be very, very strong. Next up, we have the LR Vegito, who becomes Vegito Blue. Goes without saying that this guy is pretty insane. After the EZAs that came during the anniversary, turn 4 he gets guaranteed dodge when he transforms. Usually that's going to be the last turn of an EZA anyway, so he's just going to dodge everything and just completely destroy the enemy. Good link partner for a lot of the other super units, and especially if you are going to bring some of the other fusions, they can work well together, and he has type advantage, so it kind of goes without saying that this guy is incredibly good in this event and will be able to do a ton of damage, as well as being very good defensively. Then we have the Piccolo, Orange Piccolo, or well, Power Awakening Piccolo, who can become Orange Piccolo. Obviously very good as well. Very strong defensive unit, can build up very quickly, has type advantage. When you get to turn 3, if you have a full superheroes rotation, you can then use the Orange Piccolo transformation, and then that pretty much is just going to lock down the rest of the fight, right? So this guy, very, very good. Definitely worth throwing on the team, even as like a random 6th that doesn't link very well with everybody else. He's just good on the team anyway, because he's good defensively. If he's getting hit first, he is giving everyone else on the rotation key, which can be useful if you are running a bunch of other LRs on the team. And just overall, Piccolo is a very, very good and very powerful unit. You can probably make a full team with him as well, Superheroes or Battle of Wits. There's a good crossover there for some of the Battle of Fate characters. Most of the units, most of the LRs, there'll be a way to sort of build a team that is Battle of Fate with them for the most part, so definitely can be a good stand-in. Then we have this Tech Giant Ape Vegeta. Now, his leader skill not the best for building a full team, but he's on Battle of Fate, he has type advantage. If he gets hit in slot 1, he's getting extra buffs. He's probably more of an honourable mention than anything else, but especially because he has type advantage, he'll be very good here. You know, if you are bringing some other Saiyan units, or you're bringing any of like the Super Saiyan 4s, he has Saiyan Raw. He could be pretty decent on the team. He is, again, like I say, more of an honourable mention than a top pick, but I thought it was worth mentioning him at least. Then we have the Father Son, Gallic Gun, Trunks, and Vegeta. I probably should have mentioned them a little bit earlier just because of how viable they are as a stand-in lead. Because remember, Battle of Fate is one of their, it's the plus 30% part of their leader skill. So Bond of Parent and Child or Future Saga covers a lot of the units that we've talked about in the video so far already. And then obviously Battle of Fate being the extra 30% means they're getting that and getting the full 200% leader. So I think out of all the LRs we've mentioned so far, these guys are probably the one that it will be easiest to make the full 200% team, right? Because you've got these guys, you've got the God Gokus that we've talked about, like the 8th anniversary LRs, like they're all on these guys' team, and the Battle of Fate units are then obviously getting the full 200% leader skill, because Battle of Fate units are the only ones that do. So these guys are very, very good. For things like easy A's that don't have the craziest level of difficulty, these guys are still going to be one of the best and most reliable units, right? So very, very strong. Then we have now for the JP players only, we have the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Obviously, you know, not on global, but very, very strong, very powerful unit, good in slot 1. We've already mentioned the GT LR from the 8th anniversary, and they go very nicely together. I mean, there's not really much we need to say about this guy. Global players, you won't have seen him much at all unless you've just watched clips from the JP Dokkan YouTubers, but this unit is very, very powerful. Definitely looking forward to his release on global, but yeah, unusable for us, but definitely a solid choice for the JP players. So next up we have the LR Super Saiyan 4s from the 7th anniversary. Obviously they will go very well with this Goku, sharing links like Saiyan Raw, which is a very powerful link, among many others. These guys can definitely be very good. Again, we've talked about multiple times how you can get to turn 4 and then they will fuse, and then you're pretty much going to be GG at that point, because just like the gods, when you fuse, you can use the active skill if the enemy is below 50% HP, which they probably will be on turn 4 when you get Gogeta out. So Gogeta can just be a nice quick finisher to the fight. But, you know, the unit is still good. They get their guard in the first turn, and then by turn 3, you're nearing the end of the fight in these kind of easy events anyway. So very solid. Then we have the physical Ultimate Gohan. So we already talked about Piccolo and how you can kind of make a superheroes team. There's a lot of hybrid Saiyans as well that you can use. He is on Bond of Parent and Child, so he fits under the Vegeta and Trunks 200% lead. This guy definitely very good. I'm actually not sure if Zamasu, I don't think he has a Ki Blast super attack, so you can't get the nullification, but Gohan is just one of those units. He can be very good. You kind of have to build the team around him a little bit, make sure he's got the support that he needs to get Ki, but he certainly can be very, very strong in these kind of shorter events. So he's definitely a top pick for sure. Then we have the other 8th anniversary LR, the Buu Duo. Not as good as the GT Duo in most cases. Obviously, they don't have type disadvantage against Zamasu, which is nice. So they can certainly be a very powerful unit. Any of the units that could be considered even if you don't think these guys are in the top 10 for LRs anymore, they're obviously still very good for something like an Easy A, which, as we've already said, is not exactly the hardest events in the game, right? So next up, we'll move on to some of the non-LR units. So we have units like 23rd World Tournament Goku. This guy has Earthbred Fighters or Powerful Comeback as a leader skill, so very easy to make a team with him. Obviously, Battle of Fate is one of his plus 30%, so they obviously factored that in, the fact that there are multiple units that will fit under that full 200% leader skill. And he has type advantage, so you don't need to worry about what is usually one of his biggest drawbacks, which is his chance to guard, because he's going to have type advantage all the time anyway. So guard does mean he will take a little bit less damage, but if your guard doesn't activate, it's not like you're then immediately going to get killed. So this guy definitely very good, can make a very good stand-in leader. The fact that he's finally returned as part of this celebration means that more people will potentially have him, so he definitely is a top pick. Then we have the Tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I picked this one over the Int one as the top pick, just because obviously the type advantage has a 70% chance to counter supers. We've already mentioned a couple of other GT units already, so this guy would work very, very nicely on the team with them. And then, of course, the Int one is, you know, not quite as good as the Tech one, I guess, because he's a bit older now, because the Tech one got the Easy A way after this guy released. But this guy could definitely still be good, especially if you are running those other Super Saiyan 4 units. He can certainly still put in some work. Still has the chance to counter the Super, even though it's only 50%, but he can definitely be very good as well. It's just the fact that Tech 1, obviously newer with the Easy A and has type advantage and has the higher chance to counter the Super as well. So if you're only going to bring one, I definitely would bring this one. Next up, we have Trunks himself. So I thought I would mention Trunks because if you do Trunks' Easy A first, then obviously you could use him against Zamasu and he has type advantage. Whereas if you do Zamasu's one first, I think you can still use him in Trunks' one, but then he has type disadvantage, which doesn't matter as much because Zamasu's Easy A is very good, has very good defense damage reduction and such. But in terms of doing damage to get through the Easy A quickly, obviously Trunks versus Zamasu is much better of a matchup. So if you want to do Trunks' Easy A first, then obviously he will then be usable in the AGL Zamasu one and will be very strong. I mean, you could use him without his Easy A, but obviously he's pretty outdated at this point. He probably won't be getting destroyed, but he's not going to be contributing as much to the team as some of the other units. But if you want to do his Easy A first, then he's obviously going to be very, very good against Zamasu. Next up, we have this Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, one of the first World Tournament Awakenings. This guy can be really, really good. He supports AGL Tech and Physical, which covers a lot of the units that we've already talked about. In slot 3, gets a ton of extra defense, gives a bunch of support, has type advantage in this particular event as well. So, I mean, this guy is probably... I wouldn't say like a must run, as in, you know, you absolutely should be running this guy if you have him, but I don't see many reasons not to. Just have him there floating in slot 3 and just juicing up the rest of the rotation. So this guy I think is definitely a recommended top pick for a support unit. We also have the other World Tournament Easy A, this Super Saiyan Goku. He's pretty decent. Obviously the more, if you have allies of the different typings, he can be better. Actually, no, that's the int one, isn't it? So this guy just gets the crit chance and attack and defense for legendary existence allies. You're not going to be fighting a Frieza. So, I mean, this guy is actually not perfectly suited. I was getting his passive mixed up with the int one. But, I mean, he's a free-to-play option. He can be pretty decent. Probably doesn't fit the best on this particular team setup, but definitely can still be useful. Then we have the Tech Vegito Blue, obviously with his Easy A. He can be very, very strong. Doesn't conflict with the Tech LR because obviously the LR starts off as the base Vegito, so these guys can work very well on the team. Can potentially pop off with a bunch of supers and has type advantage, so obviously going to be a very strong option. And then I thought I'd throw in the MVP 17 as well. He supports everybody on the rotation for extra defense, has damage reduction once you start to lose a little bit of HP. He fits on that whole like superheroes build for like the Piccolo Jr. and Gohan as well, so this guy definitely a very good solid defensive support unit that you can choose to bring on the team with you. So looking back at the category here just to see, have a quick scan. Units like Golden Frieza can obviously be good defensively, but I steered away from the extreme units outside of mentioning the Zamasu and that Great Ape Vegeta, just because they don't really fit in very well with all of the superclass units. And I feel like the superclass version of the team is just a lot easier to build, has a lot more options, definitely going to be a lot stronger overall. But, you know, most of the LRs who aren't STR will be of a great benefit. But, I mean, the STR ones will still be pretty good, right? So any of those are fairly viable. When it comes to the TURs, we're in kind of the same boat where the superclass ones are going to be the best ones and link better with the rest of the team. So that's where I tried to pick most of them from. I don't think there's any standouts from here that I missed. I mean, the Resurrection of F Blues, whilst they got done pretty dirty, you know, when it comes to something like an Easy A, which is not particularly difficult, they will be quite good. Piccolo Jr. is on here, who obviously can be run on like the 23rd World Tournament Goku team, and is still very good even without having like Big Bad Boss's allies, so he could be one worth considering as well. And then I tried not to think of too many STR units just because of the type disadvantage. And then, yeah, when it comes to physical, I think we covered off most of the good ones here as well. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. As I said, if you think there are any units that I missed out or should have talked more about, let me know. And let me know what your team is going to look like for the AGL Zamasu Extreme Z battle. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.